And still on reactions trailing the rejection of the real-time electronic transmission of election results by the Senate, protesters have still occupied the gates of the National Assembly for the second day to push for a reversal of this decision. Our National Assembly correspondent, Joke Adisa, is still at the venue of the protest and brings us up to speed on the events playing out at the moment at the National Assembly. Joke, good afternoon. What can you tell us from you're at the National Assembly right now? What's happening there? What is the mood of that place? Joke, I asked you, can you give us an update?
Yes, right now here is the entrance to the National Assembly, and as you will see behind me, we have a couple of protesters, and mainly youth this time, away from what we had yesterday. Yes, I am saying that if you look behind me, of course, you see some youths this morning who have come here to continue the protest. And if you look at it properly, the crowd, of course, is thinner than what we saw yesterday. Yesterday we had some civil society organizations, but today on day two, what we have here just pockets of youths, of course, continue the protest. Earlier we saw the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi. We also saw a former presidential candidate, Omoyele Sowore, so come here, and the former sports minister too, come here to give them, to also be part of the protest. So the arrival of Omoyele Sowore, of course, forced the security agencies here to temporarily shut the gates, to shut the gates of the National Assembly, and that took on for a while, and it took some minutes after when he had left that the gates are now opened. But of course, I think the security agencies have been careful not to throw both gates open. So workers, visitors, they have access to the National Assembly, but you can see that, of course, we have a bit of traffic there for those coming into the National Assembly. So that is what we have at this moment. The protest, of course, is not as we saw yesterday, and even as we speak now, the Senate is about getting on to its business of the day, following the emergency session is convened for today. I just spoke with a couple of our colleagues inside the National Assembly, and they confirmed that they're waiting for the arrival of the President of the Senate for the day's proceedings to start.
All right, Joke, do you think the involvement of Omoyele Sowore, like you mentioned, Peter Obi, and other, political actors may have politically charged the atmosphere and, changed, diverted attention from the civil society organizations who started this protest initially?
Yes, the involvement of these people, like you have mentioned, of course, along with the civil society community, of course, tends to speak basically to the position of the opposition as far as this protest is concerned. But one thing that other people on the other side have also said is to actually weigh the position of the Senate. And earlier, let me also quickly say that we saw the spokesman of the House of Representatives come here to address the protesters. And what he did say, which was significant for me, is the need for these protesters to stop demonizing the President of the Senate, and that they should weigh the option, the position he has put forward. Is Nigeria covered? Is the entire Nigeria covered by a network? So they should be able to answer that question, and should also be able to see how well, of course, this will affect the entire process if Nigeria adopts the real-time electronic transmission of election results. So it's a win-win on the both sides. And so what is significant now is to ensure that, of course, all parts of the country, of course, are covered, so that there won't be itches, there won't be glitches that, of course, even the civil society community and these politicians, of course, are calling for. So so I think what will actually solve this is to see how the National Assembly handles this. Once the Senate commences its meeting and passes the votes of proceedings that made it convey this session, I'm sure the committee the committee that is set up, of course, the conference committee will have the opportunity to x-ray these issues and bring out the pros and cons and be able to take a position that, of course, will align with the position of Nigerians and that will serve Nigeria's interests. That is not about politicians coming out, of course, to push forward an agenda, or civil society community coming forward to push forward an agenda. The basic issue here is what is best for the country at this time. And I think that is what Akirotimi, who speaks for the House, has said the National Assembly will do, that they will not pan to sentiment and that they will not allow any Nigerian or any politician to hoodwink them into taking a decision that will not be best for this country.
All right, Joker, decide there.